What's up? It's your boy Carson on here, and let's get into it. This is the truth behind the Stephen Curry and the Ayesha Curry, I don't know, relationship? You want to say that? Allegedly, by the way. You know, I just make all this stuff up, right? So Mr. NBA, please leave me alone. We just do this for entertainment purposes. That's it, okay? So, don't believe a word I'm about to say. Okay, NBA? Did y'all hear that clearly? Alright, now can we continue? Alright. Now, let's start with Ayesha Curry. Okay? Better known as Isha Alexander, the Isha Bunny. So, let's start with her. Now, she comes from Toronto and moves to, North Carolina, Charlotte. And Stephen Curry used to stay in Toronto when his dad played there. But mostly grew up in Charlotte, where his dad played for the Hornets. His dad is Dale Curry, in case you don't know who Stephen Curry is. Before Stephen Curry became the NBA phenomenon that he is. Now, the NBA has sold you this whole dream relationship thing. Even the fans are screwed up. I've had fans just, they have been dating since high school. And I guess I said her name on one of the videos and people just took it as a negative because I was talking about the negative women that have been trying to get athletes. And then I mentioned Ayesha Curry. And I said, well, I'm not going to go there because she didn't fit in that equation. Because it wasn't as if she was some thought out here trying to get a prize. But let's look at the real story. Okay? They met while going to this church. And this church is a believer's church. Now, one of the people who follow me actually remember my video and what I said about the believers in the churches and how they tried to recruit me. The believers' churches are mostly evangelistic churches that are very high-end churches, like the Central Church of God. That is they have a different, how would you say that? Different branches, like McDonald's. They have one in Illinois. They have one in every major state. They have a couple in certain states, depending on how big they are. But what these places are high-profile political people go here, athletes, high-salary people go to these churches. They're high tithes, and they have their benefits at these churches. They're conservative churches. But what the believers preach more is believing in crosses almost more than the actual belief into the Messiah. But it's normally a system. But I'm not going to go into tearing. This is not about that church or trying to tear down that church. They actually have some good principles at that church and do good things. Now, the Livingstons are the pastors, of course, Dennis and Lauren. They're assistant pastor and the head pastor. And at this church, in case you guys are interested, you can go on YouTube and hear Lauren Livingston give his whole rundown of the church and everything about it. Now, with that being said, we move forward. This is the church where Dale Curry and his family go, and the Alexander family go. And the Alexander family and Dale Curry and family, they're very close. Steph is smitten over Ayesha. He likes her. Like anybody who's been to church, you've seen a girl in church you like, and that girl knows. See, women know when guys like them or want them or look at them in a special kind of way. They see it, they know. But women like options. Women like to have these games they play. They'd be like, well, maybe not now, but at least I know I got him in the bag. So, he likes me. And then the family would be like, oh, ain't that cute? Look at them. Oh, you know how they do. So, the family is bonding, yeah, we're going to try to push those two together and see, how's it going to work out. Now, she's liking somebody else at this time, some soccer guy or whatever. He's older. He went to the church. He played soccer there in Carolina. I think today he plays for Toronto in the soccer league or something. But you know how girls are. They have crushes on these other guys. And, it's boy chase girl, girl chase boy. So, it's one of those situations where he likes her and all this stuff. So, the picture you see and everybody's like, you're crazy. They dated in high school. Like, if they dated in high school, why do you think they got the one picture of them all hugged up from high school? That's the only high school picture of them you see. If they dated in high school, there'd be so many pictures of them together in high school. Are you kidding? So, they were friends, and Seth even tried to help him out because Steph was so shy to go over and say something to him. And like, she was eating his candy from Toronto and stuff, and she brought him some, and I was like, it was more like, hey, how you doing, blah, 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 and then they, don't speak to each other. It was not like they were communicating. Seth talked more to her than Stephen did. Seth was like, my brother like you, don't you? Seth Curry plays in the NBA also. He's the younger brother of Stephen Curry. For those who don't even know who that is. So he was like, my brother like you, don't you? She was, I ain't gotta look at him like that. No, he don't. No, he do. My brother like you. No, he don't. He's more of a friend. We're friends. I never thought of him that way. So, you know how girls do. So, all of a sudden, she's graduates from high school and everything, and they never were dating. Never been out on a date. She graduates from high school, and she goes to, like, somebody else took her on prom. Wasn't Stephen Curry. He didn't take her on prom since they dated in high school, right? Like, the NBA tries to tell you this romantic story. She goes to Hollywood because she wants to go into modeling and acting, and that's her goal. She really wanted to do this and create a business, and there's nothing wrong with that, people. Okay? So she went out there at 19 years of age to be on her own in LA and go out to pursue an acting and modeling career. So she did her little headshot, she did a little, put it in her, she got a little agent who kept getting her these deals, and the church helped out because they have believers out there and they have places where she can go for prayer and all this stuff, or they can call to get prayer from their church, and they'll be looked after. So she got a couple of acting gigs. She was on a couple of Disney or Nickelodeon type shows. Hannah Montana was probably one of the biggest name shows she was on. But the acting thing was tough. It wasn't quite working out. Meanwhile, Steph's in LA. He's at the LA basketball camp because he's going to Davidson. And the fact is, he's out there training because he's trying to get better. He's working with NBA talent. And this is where basketball scouts come to see who's really, going places and kind of get a heads-up eye on some of the talent that's working out in the NBA. So they go to these NBA camps and get themselves ready to basketball camps. So Steph's skills was on display there. They haven't quite blossomed to what he is now, of course, but the kid had skills, and he picked up a lot of different techniques at the place. But anyway, he calls, "Hey, Ayesha, it's me. You want to go hang out?" That's nice, but maybe when you come back next time we can hang out or something, because she's busy, She's trying to be active. She's kind of not happy with the way her career is going, but she don't want to give that impression off, so she's just trying to blow him off nicely because she really just didn't want to be bothered. So he was like, "All right, well, we'll get him next time." She didn't know Steph was coming back 2 weeks later. He was right back, "Hey, I'm back." Because they had another camp, so she couldn't blow him off this time. So they ended up hanging out. They talking, hanging out and stuff. And, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Davidson. They got a plan for me. And I'm going to the NBA. And he already got 2 teams interested in him." And he was all excited. Because he's like, "Man, this has been my dream. I'm going to go to the NBA. Man, I'm just really training and working out and getting good so that I can, get better. So when I go to the NBA, I'll be ready." Because he's like, "I'm only going to play 2 years." The coach said maybe 2-3 years of practice, and I'm going to the NBA. So she started to think. Ding, okay, well, he went home. She was like, this ain't working out. This modeling and acting thing isn't quite working out. Steph is going places. I need to go back home with my tail in between my legs because it's hard to pay rent. I tried to do it on my own. I'm costing the family money, and I don't like the position of being at home. I want to be gone. Most of my friends have moved on after graduation, and now I'm back at home. So she moves back home, and now that she's back home, she's bored. She's depressed. The modeling, acting thing wasn't coming together the way she liked. Then she calls Steph, so they back home, and they talk on the phone. And now she's a little bit more interested in Steph. And the family's like, "Yeah, that boy like you. You need to go stick with that boy. That boy going places. Yeah, that boy going to be in the NBA. And he crazy about you. You need to be trying to give him a call." Sure enough, they started talking, going out on dates, and then all of a sudden the rest is history, right? But he wasn't her first option. She had plenty of chances to date Steph. She had other things on the table, but it don't make her a thought. Like the rest of you guys were thinking, maybe she had a dark past, she was a former hooker. Somebody got pictures of her. No, it's not that. It's just that NBA made it like this is a dream type thing. You know how they storylize everything with couples, and that's so not true. I mean, for Steph, this probably was a dream. For her, this was a step back for a come up. I'm not saying she married him for money, like I want money and everything else. This is a better position for her. She knew that this guy is somebody she knew. She knew Steph. She would be his first everything. Like, this is it for him. Like, I got total control over this situation right here. But being a believer, the way the rules are, as being a believer, when they tried to recruit me, the woman has to be submissive to the man. Whatever the male says goes. He is the head of the household. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And when they tried to recruit me in the believers, because I was brought in like recruitment at a party, and you know, I got a lot of rich white friends that hang around here, and they're not rich. Their parents are rich. They just happen to be the children of these parents. So they have money. So when we go out there, we think we're hanging out at our buddy house, and this turns into a believer's recruitment. And what they do is they prepare meals, and it's a donation. Donate what you want. But everybody's baked cookies, brownies, and I'm like, hey, but there's no drinking. There is absolutely no alcohol consumptions. That's another thing for believers. Believers do not drink. If you are a believer, you better say bye to the bottle, bye to the liquor. And right away they were like, we have a lot of single people that are believers. Yep. Don't worry, we'll find you a believer. And I'm like, hey, now this is turning into a whole different type of recruitment. First they gonna throw this wife and 2 kids on me. I'm like, why is she here? She already loves me, and I just met her. I'm like, she's following me around, telling me her whole rundown of her life story and how her husband wasn't into God, and I'm like, sounds like a rough patch for you. Why am I getting this? So they realized, like, this is not working out. He's totally not bonding with her. So at night they stepped it up and brought in these blondes. I was like, oh. He's like, oh yeah, these other girls, yeah, they're singles too. They're believers. I'm like, I believe you. I believe that. They're here for something. But I'm like, at least you're stepping your game up, you know? Get some single women in here with no kids. Yeah, it was funny. I'm cracking up looking at this. I'm just like, alright, man, this is nuts. So anyway, back to how it relates to them, the Currys, is they're not allowed to drink, and the woman is not supposed to be making decisions. It's supposed to be the male. But what they don't know is that Steph can't make decisions. He is naturally a shy person. He's very shy. So he doesn't like really television appearances too much, but they have to make him. So he's got to go to the media training and do all this, and she tries to help him out because of her acting experience on how to speak in front of the camera and how to put on a smile. And she's very photogenic and knows how to do certain things. So she's using the NBA as the tool to this whole power couple thing to launch her own businesses and take care of her own stuff. And that's why people are like, who is this Ayesha Curry? Like, where does she come from? Like, why is there even a rant about her? Like, what's going on with her? She just wants to be in the act, you know? She wants to not just be the silent partner, because that's not what she signed on for. She signed on because she wanted to say, okay, you get yours, I'm going to go to school and get mine, and then, you know, we're a team, which is cool. That's a husband-wife thing. This is not a diss to any of them. That's how it should work. You know, she do her thing. She got her own cooking show now. You know, this is called hustling the right way. For the women that's out there, you ain't got to go bang this guy for money, bang that guy for money, bang this guy. She did it for stability. They got children, they got a family, and they were like, well, she could up and leave them now. She's not there for the money. There's more in it being in a family than branching off. See, a thought will just come in, get her want to pop out a couple of babies, getting married, and now she's looking for a divorce lawyer. You know, she's trying to get out because she's only there for the money. So if that was the case, she would have the money right now. If she was there for money, she's there for stability. They are a power couple. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, they are a power couple. Without Michelle, Barack would lose so much support. Period. The black women don't follow him, they follow Michelle. They love them together as the power couple. This is the NBA couple. Oh, they're such a beautiful NBA family. High school sweethearts. Now look at them. They selling it to you. But don't get it mixed up. She's not a thought. Like all you guys was assuming that she was. I told you I would break it down to you. She's a good person. She's fun. She's funny. You know, like comedian, like make jokes all the time. She's fun. And then people are like, how do you know the Currys? North Carolina. You ever seen those Amway commercials? You ever heard of Brit Worldwide? Their main junction, their main conventions are in North Carolina, Charlotte. My cousin is a member, high ranking. My Emerald, Kevin and Beth Bell, were there. I'm there in this thing when it was called Quick Star. So from 2005 to 2011, we were partnered, worked side by side with it before Quick Star changed. And once they changed their format, they switched over into Amway, which it was always Amway, Quick Star, but Quick Star dissolved and it just became all Amway. But North Carolina was like their biggest conventions that they've had. And those are mostly ran by a lot of conservative Christian churches. Normally 2 branches in their organization. Like the Northern North Carolina Church, which involves this church here. The Central Church of God. That's just one of the major evangelistic churches that are involved in these Amway and Brit Worldwide companies. And these high-end rich people get together and find a way how to make money and how to hide money and how to put on these conservative meetings and stuff. So that's how we were able to meet that church. Meet that reverend, that pastor, and meet these guys, and meet the Currys. Meet the Alexanders. Get where it's going now? Get how casinos everywhere? So, on that note, I will leave it. And I should do a Carcino's Hood Stories about that, the Brit Worldwide. That might come up later down the road too, because there's some great stories behind that too. And people want to know like how I know a lot of stuff about the NBA. I'm finna tell y'all right now. Go on Facebook, follow DANTE DAVIS, Dante Davis. As you know, he follows me on Facebook because that is my cousin. We grew up together. Grew up in the same crib. That type of cousins. And he's from Saginaw, Michigan. Played in the backcourt with Jason Richardson. I told y'all this before. And they went to Saginaw High. And he decided to go into Saginaw Tech or Michigan Tech School because he was a genius with numbers and mathematics. So he went to school for engineering, even though he was recruited by Michigan State also. He could have went with Jason Richardson over there. But he was the point guard, Jason Richardson was the two. He chose to go to the tech school and go towards engineering. And we all know where Jason Richardson went to state and what happened with them. They won a national championship, and the rest was history. Now, moving on. He ended up working with the Detroit Pistons. His friends, most of them ended up playing for the Pistons. He was a correspondent for them. He designed most of their cars when he was engineering Chrysler. Draymond, what city is he from? He's from where? Saginaw, Michigan, right? What team he played for? Golden State Warriors, right? Y'all get where this is going? I tell you what, go on his Facebook, look at his photos, and then come ask me how I know so much. I'm out.